Tyson Fury just went on an interview with the YouTube channel Behind the Gloves and explained why the fight with Usyk or Anthony Joshua never happened. Before we get into the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Also, while you're at it, make sure to follow me on TikTok where I explain interesting facts and stories. Okay, so Tyson Fury goes on an exclusive interview with Behind the Gloves and explains why the fight between him and Usyk never happened.
Confirm or deny this. My understanding is that Usyk was not willing to fight until March or April, and you wanted to keep busy. You didn't want to wait until then to make the fight. Is that correct?
That's correct, because obviously I fought end of April this year, so to wait for the middleweight until next April would have been ridiculous. Out the ring for a year. Why? When I'm a boxer, if I'm boxing and coming back, then may as well fight. So Usyk didn't want no smoke from the Gypsy King. He's got to go back to Ukraine and do what he's got to do. Give all of his team, see what they got to say, pump him up a little bit, put on a bit of weight, eat some more food, eat some more of that beef, and then bulk up. Want to fight? They got offered the fight, Saudi Arabia, December. No, thank you very much. You couldn't have dragged him there with a pack of wild horses. But then again, you couldn't have done that with his mate either. So I am the scary, badass motherfucker, the knockout king of this division.
Usyk, when he did an interview not long ago, when you were calling out AJ, he said, well, fine, I may as well fight Wilder. But he sort of, and I don't want to misquote what he did, like his specific words, but it seemed as though he felt as if you didn't want to fight him.
Right. But when didn't I want to fight him? Because the fight's been offered and they've declined it publicly. So yeah, there is no if buts or maybes. They got offered a fight. I put a video on YouTube, didn't I? Not YouTube, Instagram. So he wants the WBC belt, come and get it. They want to challenge the Emperor of the division. Come and challenge. You better bring a fucking army, because you on your own, motherfucker's no good to me. I will eat him up and spit him out to beat, so it would seem.
What do you make of the fact that Usyk is saying that he is more than likely going to go back down to cruiserweight to fight?
I couldn't give a rat's ass what Usyk does. Usyk's a little foreigner who people can't even say his name. Nobody gives a fuck about him. He's come up and beat a bodybuilder, this middleweight. Fair play.
And on secondsout, Tyson Fury would say this about Usyk and Dereck.
In my opinion, Chisora at least got a draw with Usyk. So I see Chisora every bit as dangerous as Usyk, if it is Chisora. I don't know if you've seen that fight with Usyk and Dereck.
Yes, of course.
Very good fight, very close. And I thought Chisora deserved the draw minimum. I think Usyk's manager had it a draw as well, if I remember rightly. So Chisora's no pushover. Even if it is Chisora, he's no pushover. And if you're not in your A game, Dereck will beat you to fuck.
What do you guys think about what Tyson Fury has to say about Usyk? I personally would love to see this fight. I think both fighters are incredible boxers and have unique boxing skills. Tyson Fury has the weight, height, and reach finish, but Usyk is great at evading punches and hitting his opponents when they least expect it. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Okay, so recently the fight with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury was called off, which I'm really sad about because I really wanted to see this fight happen. But it is what it is. Tyson Fury has multiple things to say about this fight. Deontay Wilder took me to court to get the fight, but then this other big sausage, he has a contract and didn't sign it. One man risked losing millions to make the fight, and one man's running from millions. Different. Tyson Fury would go on to say this during the interview with Behind the Gloves.
For all I care.
So Bob Arum said that there was a lot of things that wasn't done. He said that first it was about the networks, it got made. Then it was about the purse split, and that was agreed upon. And that it really came down to, he felt that it was that Eddie was dragging his feet because he knew he didn't want Anthony Joshua to fight you so soon after the Usyk fight. Now I'm quoting, obviously, what Bob Arum said to Sky Sports, but do you believe that as well?
Again, I've...
Because it seems like AJ wanted it.
Do you know what I mean? I'm over the fact that these guys are not fighting. They had a deadline. Frank Warren sort of begged me on the phone to extend my deadline for another week. Actually, he said another 48 hours. So it was Monday, and he said, right, give us 48 hours. I said, you could have until the 31st of June 2026. You would not make that motherfucker fight me. He does not want to fight. I said, take the day, take to the end of the week. I'd even had a bet with Frank Warren, £10,000, which Frank, you owe me, and I want the money at the press conference, or else there'll be trouble. Frank owes me 10k, because he said he'd get this fight over the line within that week, and I said 10 grand, and I would have bet 10 million, because that's how confident I was. When you start seeing stuff from Eddie saying, oh, Tyson only wants to fight Joshua at his weakest, That's not a statement coming from somebody who wants to take a fight or build a fight. That's a statement from a guy who's got no intentions of taking fights. But again, zero interest. Full stables down the toilet. They've all been beaten. Katie Taylor's holding the full stable up, and that's all I got to say. I've no interest in those guys. Basically, I offered them a seat at my massive dining table, the feast, the banquet, and all they had to do was turn up and be a part of it, but they decided not to for their own personal reasons, which I don't care, and that's it. They're out in the cold now. Goodbye, and good luck fighting at Wembley with 4,000 people there. Wembley.
Do you think the opportunity would ever arise in the future for you and Anthony to fight?
There's no more fights now because, let's face it, I've tried to make this fight with them guys for about 4 years, and there's always been something stopping it. So, if they're not going to fight, they're not going to fight. I'm not going to waste any more time. I think my dad touched on a video quite a few days ago, how Eddie Hearn cost Joshua 105 million in excess, and just to confirm, that's bang on, right? Eddie is no brains, he's daft. He goes on like he's a clever guy, but he actually cost AJ 105 million and probably got him beat in his last fight for what, $25-30 million? That's a lot of money, but it's not 105 million. So yeah, pretty silly. So if they're not going to fight for 105 million, they're not going to fight for any amount of money. But again, no interest in the people. They've had their opportunity and now it's gone. Good luck to you. All the best.
It seems like Tyson Fury is saying that Eddie Hearn is the cause to all this, and the reason that they would never fight. Seems like Anthony Joshua, though, did really want this fight to happen. I don't know, it's all behind the scenes. Tyson Fury would also say more about the interview on Seconds Out.
Well, in England, it certainly matters. I don't need to tell you how excited British fans are about an all-British fight, no matter who's in the ring. And the one that we thought we might get that had everybody talking was Anthony Joshua. Just spoken to her, and everyone has been taking some type of questions about this. But you haven't. And you've been stating on Instagram where you are with it. I know you gave them a deadline, but how serious was the offer in the first place? And why put a deadline on it if it was possibly close to being made?
Okay, so how serious was the offer? 60-40, internet, the world was there, they've had the contract. They had the contracts for like 2 weeks and didn't sign them for commercial reasons, whatever the fuck that means. Sponsors. So if you're going to let a sponsor get in the way of the biggest heavyweight fight in British boxing, not world, British boxing history, then, you need to regroup. And at the end of the day, it was a very, very serious offer. If it wasn't serious, I wouldn't have offered him the fight. They wouldn't have had the contract. If they would have signed it, we would be fighting Joshua right now in December. But they always will find the reason not to fight the Gypsy King. Or because at the end of the day, I'm over that now. And the deadline is the fact that we're 8 weeks away from a fight today. So if they didn't sign it, which they didn't. So how close do you want to leave it? 2 weeks before? A week? 3 weeks? Month? These things are not hard. These promoters will make it sound like, oh, the deals are hard, commercial. The commercial rights, what the flipping heck does that even mean? It's basically TV deals, okay? So both TV agree, then we're on like Donkey Kong usually. And the fighters agree the purse, which they said they did. They were happy with the 40% split, which was very generous. So what's the commercial rights then? What's that? Because I'm obviously elite #1 boxer that makes a lot of money on all of this type of thing, commercial rights, what the fuck that is. And I have no clue what they're talking about. Zero clue. And I still don't. But if you would have given them a deadline of 2 years, they still ain't going to make the fight. Let's face facts.
Why do you think they wouldn't make this fight?
They're both pussies. We know Joshua wouldn't fight Wilder for $50 million back in the day. We all know that. My lawyer seen the money, the $50 million from Al Haymon. That was real. Yeah? And he shit himself yet again. He has never fought somebody who's going to beat him. And I'll tell you what else they can't do, these control freaks. They can't go on somebody else's show because their ego's too big. This was not Joshua versus Fury because Fury doesn't have 3 losses. This was Fury, Joshua. And it was all my show, okay? So for them to turn up with their size of egos and play ball and be the opponent, they're not going to do that. They wouldn't do it for the 50 million against Wilder, go to America and fight Wilder as a Wilder versus Joshua show. And by the way, all behind all the scenes, they were still trying to contact Wilder while they was trying to do negotiations with me. So they're all out in the cold now, though, where they belong. You don't know, you don't slinks, slinks.
What's your guys' thoughts about this? Like I said, I really would like to see the Anthony Joshua or Usyk fight. I think both fights would be very entertaining. I saw this that Tyson Fury tweeted. What's your guys' thoughts on this? Andy Ruiz versus Tyson Fury. Would you rather see that over Dereck Chisora? Let me know down in the comments. That's about it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. Make sure to click the video in the middle of the screen. That should take you to Deontay Wilder's prediction on who would win the Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight if it actually happened. Which most likely it won't. But just click the video. Bye.